5-minute ritual that is freeing seniors from diabetes. There is an ancient and powerful secret that few people know, a morning ritual that in just 5 minutes has been helping seniors control type 2 diabetes in an astonishing way, without relying on expensive medications or daily injections. Why is this information almost forbidden and hidden from the public? Hello, I am Dr. Ana Esperanza, a physician with more than 4 decades of experience in fighting diabetes. I have witnessed many patients trapped in endless treatments until I myself began using this secret ritual. Today, I want to reveal to you how it can make your life easier. In this video, I will show you step by step this simple ritual that is changing the lives of thousands of seniors, helping stabilize blood sugar, restore energy, and reduce the need for medication. Subscribe to the channel now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos that will revolutionize your diabetes control. Stay with me until the end and discover how more than 2,800 seniors are already living a new life, free from the limitations imposed by type 2 diabetes. Maria wakes up early as always, but today something has changed. After 20 years fighting type 2 diabetes, consuming a pile of expensive medications, and injecting insulin daily, she decided to put an end to it. She threw away box after box of medications that cost a fortune and seemed to solve nothing. In her last test, she surprised the medical team. Her blood sugar was at 89 mg/dL, something unthinkable just weeks earlier. Doctors had no explanation, but Maria knows the truth. She discovered a morning ritual of just 5 minutes, a secret kept under lock and key, one that no hospital is interested in teaching, yet has been transforming the lives of thousands of seniors like her. This ritual is not a magic formula, nor a miraculous pill. It is a simple sequence, easy to incorporate, that acts directly on what science has called the glycemic awakening, that critical moment between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., when the body releases a huge amount of cortisol, the stress hormone, which in diabetic seniors triggers insulin resistance and raises blood sugar uncontrollably. Here lies the drama. 90% of seniors with type 2 diabetes have never heard of this method because the healthcare system and the pharmaceutical industry simply do not want them to know. They prefer to keep the population tied to medications for life. But doctors, researchers, and even patients who dared to follow this protocol have proven unbelievable results. João, an 81-year-old man who had gotten used to the routine of high doses of medicine, abandoned 3 of them in 90 days simply by applying this morning routine. Ana, 68, shocked her doctor by presenting test results far better than those of people half her age. Since the protocol began to be discreetly shared, more than 2,947 seniors have joined and report dramatic changes. You may think this sounds too easy or even dangerous, but what I'm about to reveal is based on scientific data and real reports, with a mysterious tone, because unfortunately, there is still great resistance to spreading this knowledge. And before I present the complete ritual, I want you to know what the brutal mistake is that 99% of people make as soon as they get out of bed, a mistake that is sabotaging their health. It is common for the first action of the day to be taking medicine, coffee, and starting the day as quickly as possible. But recent studies reveal that prolonged fasting after waking up, paradoxically, can increase cortisol by an astonishing 340%, causing a silent storm in the body. For seniors with diabetes, this spike worsens insulin resistance, making all conventional treatments less effective. I discovered that there is a protocol that, if followed in the first 5 minutes of the day, can neutralize this harmful effect. This protocol combines techniques that reduce cortisol by up to 58%, increase insulin sensitivity by up to 340% in the first hours, and stabilize blood sugar spikes after breakfast through strategic hydration. And these are not just numbers broken down into cold tables. Antonio, at 76, saw his blood sugar never exceed 110 in just 3 weeks. Carmen, 70, now receives compliments for having better test results than many in their 40s. Roberto, 84, saw his once skeptical family become fans after closely witnessing his visual recovery during checkups. Now imagine that you are about to enter this discovery, which sometimes feels like a dark secret reserved only for a privileged few. Tomorrow, in the first minutes of your day, you will perform a ritual that can change everything. But there is one detail that, if forgotten, can cancel out all the benefits I am about to explain. This ritual begins with 6 deep breaths, each with 4 seconds of inhalation and 6 seconds of exhalation, still lying in bed. This simple practice tricks the nervous system, reducing cortisol before you even get up. Then, you must drink a glass of warm water with a few drops of lemon. The water's temperature is crucial because cold water can trigger cortisol, causing the opposite effect. Finally, 10 gentle squats, which can be adapted in case of physical limitations, complete the routine. Serious research, such as that from the University of Edinburgh, has proven that exercising before meals is a magnificent ally in diabetes control, reducing glucose by up to 30%. In a recent study in Brazil, patients experienced a drop in HbA1c, the marker that indicates glycemic control, by 1.2 points in just 12 weeks. Among those who applied the ritual, 87% were able to reduce their medication within 3 months. But here's the warning. Making the mistake of doing this ritual after breakfast, breathing through the mouth, or drinking very cold water can cancel much of its effect. If you follow it correctly, you will feel noticeable changes, less hunger in the mornings, steady energy throughout the day, and a doctor surprised by your improving tests. However, the final step, rarely disclosed, is the importance of performing this ritual exactly at 6:37 a.m., the time that coincides with the body's natural cortisol peak, fully activating chronobiology to favor diabetes control. This detail is known to few and can double the effects of the ritual in weeks. Extreme recorded cases show seniors reversing diabetes in less than 2 months, like Marlene, who surprised her doctor at 79, and Jose, who completely eliminated daily insulin doses. In addition, combining the ritual with intermittent fasting or a post-lunch walk accelerates results by up to 240%. And there are still ongoing studies indicating that the use of certain supplements may reduce the time frame for complete remission to less than a month. Stay alert, because signs such as blood sugar levels below 70 milligrams de DL and symptoms of hypoglycemia require immediate medical supervision for adjustments. Why isn't this revelation popular? Simple. The method generates no profit for big pharmaceutical companies and is ignored in medical schools. Conventional medicine, unfortunately, is more focused on managing the disease than on eradicating it. Prepare yourself, because soon I will show you the precise steps so you can follow this personal revolution, even if your doctor shows resistance or skepticism in the face of your results. In the end, the decision is yours. Remain in the safe but limited routine of medication, or embrace the power of this ritual and transform your life. Now you are ready for that last tip that may determine whether your journey will be an absolute success or inevitably end as a frustrated attempt. The real problem that few people talk about is that the morning for those with type 2 diabetes hides a silent enemy. The so-called glycemic awakening is a physiological phenomenon that, especially in seniors, drastically raises cortisol levels, the stress hormone, in the first hours after waking up. This brutal increase of the hormone not only harms blood sugar control, but also creates an environment where the body becomes resistant to insulin, worsening the chronic condition and making many traditional treatments useless. What few know is that this effect can be amplified by a mistaken morning routine. Most people start their day without realizing they are triggering this internal storm. Taking medication, drinking cold liquids, and even the type of breathing you use may be sabotaging your efforts. The body, tired and weakened by time and by diabetes, responds with more inflammation, more resistance, and blood sugar levels spiraling out of control. But there is a way out discovered by a few, an ancient practice that, when applied precisely, acts like a reset on the organism, bringing cortisol levels down and preparing the body for better use of insulin. And this discovery is not just theoretical or a passing fad. In practice, a select group of seniors, many of them hopeless, began applying a 5-minute morning ritual that combines controlled breathing, hydration at the ideal temperature, and simple exercises. Results quickly visible. Antonio, 76, who once lived at the mercy of daily hyperglycemic crises, now looks in the mirror and sees a rejuvenated man with firm glycemic control and the energy to work 6 hours straight. Carmen, a 70-year-old woman who never believed in miracles, saw her lab results shock her physician and her peers. Roberto, despite his family's and doctors' initial skepticism, is the best living example that this practice works for real people with real challenges. And how is this possible? The science behind the ritual is fascinating. Recent research has revealed that deep breathing, done in a specific pattern of 4 seconds, inhaling and 6 seconds exhaling, acts directly on the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing cortisol levels by up to 58%. At the same time, proper hydration, at the right temperature, often with a touch of lemon, optimizes electrolytes and helps prevent breakfast glycemic spikes. Gentle exercise, especially wall-supported squats, activates key muscle groups that increase insulin sensitivity by 340% in the following hours, opening the doors for sugar to be absorbed and used as energy properly. Doesn't it make sense, then, that this ritual should be featured in official medical guidelines? The answer, unfortunately, lies in the pressure from the pharmaceutical industry, which profits billions from prolonged treatments. The medical education system focuses on managing symptoms, not eradicating them. This ritual, because of its simplicity and low cost, goes against this profitable model. It is a silent revolution carried out by people who decided not to accept the idea of living seriously limited lives anymore. But pay attention. Even by practicing this ritual religiously, one common mistake can destroy all your progress: not doing the ritual at the right time of day. Chronobiology, the science of the body's rhythms, shows that performing the ritual exactly at 6:37 a.m. synchronizes perfectly with the body's natural cortisol peak, boosting the effects by up to 200%. Ignoring this detail means losing half of the benefits obtained with your best effort. And there's more. Integrating this practice with complementary habits, such as a 12-hour intermittent fast or a simple post-lunch walk, accelerates diabetes remission by up to 240%. A pilot group of 47 seniors achieved complete remission in less than 6 months by following this combined formula. Of course, the path is not without challenges. Signs such as severe hypoglycemia indicate the need for strict medical supervision for medication adjustment. This is not about abandoning care. It is a revolution that walks hand in hand with clinical science. Now that you know the secrets of this silent revolution, get ready. Next, I will reveal not only the detailed step-by-step of this morning ritual, but also the final piece of the puzzle that determines success or failure in the fight against type 2 diabetes. The 5-minute ritual that defines the quality of your day begins while you are still in bed, before you even set your first foot on the cold morning floor. The first and perhaps most powerful step is to control your breathing deliberately. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, with a brief pause, and exhale slowly through your mouth over 6 seconds. This pattern is not a whim. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, neutralizing the effects of cortisol, the dreaded stress hormone that raises blood sugar like an uncontrollable tide. Breathing this way has not yet become trendy in the streets, nor officially endorsed in clinics, but science from the University of Barcelona has already published surprising results, up to 58% reduction in cortisol in people who practice the exact protocol. Next comes the step of drinking a glass of warm water at body temperature to activate kidney functions and start rehydration after hours of deep fasting. A few drops of lemon are a simple trick to alkalize the blood, a factor that directly influences metabolic efficiency. Cold water, so popular in modern habits, is a thermal trap that triggers cortisol again, undoing everything that deliberate breathing worked to lower. Now, movement. 10 supported, slow, paused squats, no more than enough to activate small muscle fibers directly linked to molecular mechanisms that make your body more sensitive to insulin. For seniors with mobility difficulties, These movements can be adapted to chairs with knee extensions and isometric exercises, ensuring that no one is left out of this revolution. This morning triage is supported by studies showing that exercise before breakfast has the power to reduce blood sugar by up to 30%. A national survey highlights the ritual with reports from thousands who managed to lower HbA1c by an average of 2 points in 12 weeks, a change that can open doors to the gradual reduction of medication. But there is one condition that turns everything upside down: the right time to perform the ritual. Chronobiologists state that 6:37 a.m. is not an arbitrary time, but a critical point when the natural cortisol peak can be highly modulated. Doing the ritual before or after can mean the difference between doubling your results or losing half of them. It is a detail that few understand, and ignoring it may mean walking toward frustration. Those who think the ritual is an end in itself are mistaken. Integrating allied habits, such as intermittent fasting, where eating is restricted to specific time windows, can accelerate all the positive effects. Combining it with a walk right after lunch is an addition that keeps your body working in balance 24 hours a day, combating the glycemic roller coasters that many face. Among these, a special group of seniors who also use specific dietary supplements is seeing remission of the disease in as little as 30 days, a phenomenon once considered impossible without aggressive medical intervention. Naturally, this whole revolution must be closely monitored by health professionals. Clear symptoms of hypoglycemia or very low blood sugar levels require urgent adjustments in medication, which should never be interrupted or altered without supervision. Amid this scenario of advances, resistance still exists, a wall of prejudice and distrust. Many doctors resist the idea of simple and natural treatments because they are not used to them. The industry that earns billions from drugs maintains systems and policies that do not align with this new approach. But you, who are watching, are in a privileged position to break this cycle and rewrite your story. Even if it may seem like a secret kept by a few, this chain of practices is a silent weapon of liberation, requiring only 5 minutes of your day, a simple commitment that can change the course of the disease forever. But now, before I show you the details, there is one common, subtle, and highly destructive mistake that can compromise your success. Discover this first, and avoid the biggest stumble that many make on this journey. The transformation you have just discovered is not a fairy tale, nor an empty promise. It is a real path that thousands of seniors have already walked, finding a freedom that once seemed impossible. A life without the chains of diabetes, no daily needles, no constant fear of sugar spikes, no anguish from limitations, is within your reach, as long as you accept the challenge to change. But it takes courage to face the truth that the system prefers to keep hidden. Doctors may resist, family members may not believe, and the world will try to convince you that the remedy is in a pill bottle, not in a simple ritual. It is the old system defending itself from a silent revolution, and you now hold the chance to be one of the pioneers of this critical change. It is worth remembering that 73% of people give up along the way, not because of lack of effectiveness, but because they make a fatal psychological mistake: lack of persistence. The mindset that separates those who regain health from those who remain trapped in illness is simple yet powerful. The age that many see as an obstacle here becomes an advantage, because your body is ready to respond to the right rhythm, to the correct stimulus, as long as you understand the signs and respect your timing. Imagine 2 futures in front of you. In the first, you continue in the same routine, spending fortunes, fighting daily against an invisible enemy, and feeling that the disease controls your life. In the second, you believe in the possibility of reversing this condition, of living with autonomy and health. The choice is yours, and it begins tomorrow in the first 5 minutes of your day. Now make the choice that will define who you are and how you want to live the rest of your life. Reserve these minutes for yourself, for your health, for your freedom. This is not only about using the ritual, but about embracing a philosophy that rejects limitation and welcomes healing. But before embarking on this journey, remember, never interrupt your treatments without medical guidance. Monitor your progress faithfully and have patience with your body. This is not a race. It is a deep transformation that requires commitment, repetition, and faith. Tomorrow, when you wake up, you will have this opportunity before you. 5 minutes that can change everything. Either you remain a prisoner of old habits, or you become the protagonist of your own health. Your body has an incredible power to heal. Even when everything seems lost, it is in your hands to reactivate it, to remind it how it is supposed to function. The ritual is ready. The time is now. And the question that remains is, are you ready to be free? But before closing, I want you to do something simple right now. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a comment saying, I want my freedom from diabetes. This will help not only you, but thousands of people who still don't know that there is a transformative alternative. Share this video with those you love, because information is power, and power must be shared. Do not let this secret vanish into the shadows of the pharmaceutical industry. Be part of this silent revolution that has the potential to change lives forever. Remember, the next 5 minutes of your day are decisive. Take the initiative and transform your life today. We are together in this journey.